Do not modify your BMW E46. That's right, do not modify your BMW E46. Hey you, stop what you're doing, span it down. No more mods on the E46. And you over there, yes, I can see you. Stop what you're doing, no more mods on the E46. If you own a BMW E46 3 Series or you're thinking about buying one, then you need to watch this video because I'm going to give you 5 reasons for not modifying your E46. Potentially save you thousands of dollars and hundreds of lost hours of driving pleasure while your E46 is sitting idle in a garage somewhere. But before we start, just some housekeeping to do. What are you doing? Not that sort of housework. This sort of housework. Anyway, my name's Michael Taylor and welcome to 64 Motorsport. I produce videos for BMW owners about performance upgrades, maintenance, and also document the build of my E46 BMW. Now, if this is the sort of thing that you're into, how about you subscribe and tickle the bell so you get notified each time I upload a new video. And if you happen to make it to the end of this video, don't forget to hit that like button. Let's get straight into my 5 tips for not modifying your E46 BMW. My number 1 reason for not modifying your BMW E46 is maintenance. All too often, I hear people complaining about the amount or the cost of maintenance that the BMW E46 requires. I've been working on my own cars now for over 40 years and trust me, they all need maintenance. Ford, Chevy, Toyota, and yes, BMWs, they all need maintenance. But the one thing that I've found with the BMWs is that the type of maintenance is a little bit different from, say, your typical Ford or Chevy. So it's not that your E46 requires more maintenance, it just requires different type of maintenance. So if you've just bought an E46 or you're thinking about buying one, make sure you set aside some extra coin for maintenance, regardless of the fact that the guy you just bought the car from has assured you that it's always been serviced by a BMW specialist. Now, the most common areas for maintenance on your BMW E46 are going to be in relation to oil leaks and coolant leaks. I've already done a couple of videos on these subjects and you can check them out by clicking the link above. And also I'm going to be doing a follow-up series of videos on setting and allocating a budget for the maintenance repairs on your E46. So if you didn't take the opportunity to subscribe earlier in the video, how about you do it now so you get updates when those new videos come out. Have you done it yet? Okay, hold on. Should have given you enough time. Now there's going to be other areas on your E46 BMW which are possibly going to require maintenance depending how good that BMW specialist was in regards to maintaining the E46. CCV, Vanos, Diesel valve, Guibo, diff bushes, RTABs, etc, etc, etc. But the point I want to make here is don't go straight out and spend $1,000 on a new set of wheels or a new set of coils and struts until you got the basics taken care of. You'll be much happier driving a reliable stock E46 than a lowered E46 with a nice set of wheels that always seems to be in the workshop getting fixed. Number 2, accept what it is. Now, I don't know of anybody that loves BMWs that doesn't dream of someday owning an M3, and particularly the E46 M3. The performance, the handling, and those killer looks. But the reality is we can't all afford an M3, so most of us do the next best thing and we buy a 3 Series E46, and preferably a 6-cylinder, and if you can find one, a manual. But even though it looks the same as an M3, just accept the fact that it's not an M3 and you can't make it one. Actually, you can. It's just going to require a heap of coin to do it. So work with what you've got and accept it for what it is. And don't try and make it something that it's not. And when you follow the advice that I've given you in point 1, it will perform and handle and constantly reward you with driving pleasure. So accept it for what it is and just enjoy it. Number 3, let me just check my notes. but don't mess with what's already working. And by this I mean the BMW engineers have already done all the hard work for you. They've already determined the best quality components to give you the best driving experience across a variety of different road surfaces and in a variety of different weather conditions. The reality is, when you mod one component, there's this flow-on effect, which means you now have to modify another component and another one and another one. So those new poly bushes that you've just installed, they're going to place additional forces and loads on the old rubber bushes further down the suspension line. If your E46 is a daily driver and you have to replace those old worn rubber diff bushes, then replace them with new rubber diff bushes, and your wallet will thank you because you won't have to now upgrade a heap of other rubber bushes in 2 or 3 months' time. Number 4, mods versus personalization. There are performance mods and there's personalization. And sometimes that fine line between personalizing your E46 and modifications can become a little blurred. Some might argue that lowering your E46 is simply personalizing the look of your E46. But when you lower your E46 so much that a heap of other changes are required in the suspension geometry and the suspension components to make that work, that's a modification and goes beyond simple personalization. Those new wheels you've bought, if they are so wide that a heap of other alterations need to be made to make those wheels fit, that's a modification. Now, don't get me wrong, I'm all for personalizing your E46. Hell, who wants to have the same silver or blue E46 as half a dozen other people in the shopping centre car park? I don't. What I'm saying is personalising is okay. Follow the rule of KISS, and by that I don't mean the rock band, I mean keep it simple, stupid, and don't go overboard with the personalisation on your E46. Almost finished? Done. Number 5, protect your resale. I like this one. Now, if you follow my advice, you're going to protect your resale value and possibly get you that one step closer to one day owning your very own M3. I've lost count of the number of cars that I've bought and sold over the years. It's almost impossible to make a profit, especially when you spent thousands of dollars on a heap of performance mods. That $2,000 you've spent on the exhaust for your E46 does not equate to an extra $2,000 in resale value. More likely an extra $20, maybe $200. But what will help the value of your E46 is regular, appropriate maintenance. A potential buyer will certainly see the value in the $500 you've spent fixing all the coolant leaks rather than $500 you've spent installing a cold air intake. So sort out all the maintenance problems and then add a little bit of personalization to set it apart from the rest, and you're going to protect your resale value and maybe get close to what you paid for it. Now, I know what you're thinking. Michael, you're a hypocrite. Look at all the mods you've made on your E46 and all the videos you've talked about mods for your E46. How can I believe what you're saying now in regards to not modding your E46? And that's a valid question. So let me explain, and if after I've explained it you still think I'm full of shit, drop me a comment below. I've got a hard skin, I can take it. I've owned my E46 for almost 5 years, and for the first 2 years the only performance mod that I made was installing a set of polyurethane sway bar bushes. Every other dollar that I spent on my E46 went towards addressing maintenance problems. Coolant leaks, oil leaks, diff bushes, new clutch, and yeah, it was really frustrating, incredibly frustrating, because I would have much preferred spending that money on go fast, go loud bits. But in order for me to enjoy the modifications that eventually I would install on my E46, it was essential that I had a solid base to work from. My E46 is not going to be a daily driver, and I don't have any plans to sell her in the near future. So the level of modifications and customization that I'm making on my E46 is all about me. and what makes me happy, and is the culmination of 40 years of working on various different types of cars. So it's not about any of this other sort of stuff. So while I'm on this subject, here's my bonus tip for you. Regardless of what I've said in this video, or what anyone else says to you, it's your car. It's your E46. It's your dream, and it's your happiness. Don't let other people who haven't walked a mile in your shoes, or who don't understand the pleasure that working on your E46 brings to your life, don't let them diminish your dreams. The great thing about working on cars is there's no rules. Anything goes. It's all about expressing your own imagination. So what you love about your E46 is just as important as what somebody else loves about theirs. You shouldn't have to explain or justify the decisions that you've made. Other people should just appreciate it for the love and passion that you've put into it. Now, my mum always used to say to me, if you haven't got anything nice to say, don't say anything at all. So remember that. Regardless of what I've said, you do what makes you happy. And don't listen to the naysayers or those negative, do-gooders. It's your dream, it's your passion, and you chase it with the passion and enjoyment that you believe it deserves. So, on that note, those are my 5 tips for not modifying your E46 BMW. Drop me a comment below, let me know what you think, and I'd love to hear your feedback. If you would like to see more videos regarding maintenance on your E46, how about you click on this video here. You can also watch the video that YouTube thinks you're going to enjoy the most by clicking on this video here. But certainly I've enjoyed your company. Thank you very much for watching. Until we meet again, look after yourselves, stay safe. TTFN.